Thanks for staying with us. There was a video that went viral that depicted major bullying in a way that is worrisome in a secondary school in Edo State, and we'll be discussing that with the Right Honorable Osaro Osadebare Roland, who is currently the House, is the chairman House Committee on Education, and is from Edo State, and we want him to give us his perspective. Currently, we know that the Edo State government doesn't have any cabinet in place. We'll also be speaking with the Commissioner for Education in Edo State, but since there's no cabinet, we're talking to the chairman House Committee on Education in Edo State. Sir, have you also seen the video that we are referring to? Do we have the video now? Let's play it. Okay.
Wait, come on, bring up, come on. And he got a beat for
this. This is a peer-to-peer bullying that there's no justification for it, and we just want to have an idea. If you've seen this video, sir, what was your first reaction, and what's the general line of action that should take place concerning this kind of occurrence in a school?
First, as a person, I felt very disturbed when I saw the video, and the Edo State government feel very bad and were disappointed in the acts. Yep. And as a government, as a responsive government, I think the governor instructed set up a panel to immediately investigate the matter, and the state secretary to the government was to chair that panel. And immediately, yesterday, all the persons involved, the parents of the victims, the parents of the accused, the principal, and all stakeholders were invited for as a way of checking such thing from reoccurrence. The principal of the school and the housemaster of that Kenzwa Hall was immediately suspended, and a query was issued to them to answer. And the accused were asked, they were sent to the police station, the juvenile court, to investigate and come out with their findings. I think the government is very disturbed about it, and they are doing everything within their powers to ensure that such acts does not repeat itself in future.
Yeah. As of now, do we know exactly why those boys were carrying such an action against their fellow students? Yeah,
that is what I said. I said there's already the matter is already before the law enforcement agents to investigate, because what they told us, the investigation has not been completed, so it will not be right for me to. They've all given their own side of the story. Okay. Some of the students said that there was a fight before then. It was a reprisal attack. But for a system like that, I think that is wrong, because they have housemasters, they have other authorities that ought to wade into the issue before it gets to that stage. But because some persons, first of all, they were suspended so that a thorough investigation will be carried out. And by the time we are through with the investigation, the law will take its course and nobody will be spared.
Okay, Sanima has a question for you.
My immediate concern are the victims, the two young men beaten. Because what we saw in that video was what happened outside. Yeah. We don't know how far it was inside. Yes, sir.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the victims were taken to the hospital, and the doctors were asked to examine them and see if there's any injury and all of that. I think that is also being taken care of. They are already in the hospital and they are being cared for already.
So, cultism...
Both psychologists and all.
Cultism in secondary schools are becoming a thing of concern across the country now. Yeah. Are you surprised that this happened, or do you have some suspicion that this could be cultism? And is there anything the government of Edo State are doing to deliberately discourage, this, aside punishing the administrators of the school?
Yeah, from the investigation we have carried out from the panel, the issue of courtesan is ruled out. It is not an issue of courtesan, because the issue of courtesan, there are laws, there are those state laws that prohibit courtesan. We don't tolerate that at all. And we have Chief Inspector of Education that have a duty to ensure that every now and then they goes to school to ensure that such things is not being perpetrated in schools. So as for now, I don't think the issue that is on now has nothing to do with courtesan. I think all the students, from what we're told, like I said, the investigation is still going on. They are all SS3 students that are writing the exam. So that is it. But the issue of courtesan is not what's been established yet.
I'll have to ask you this question because we don't have a commissioner, in Edo State to ask this question. Would you be... Okay, so these are students. Should they have a phone in secondary school? Who is recording the video? And because obviously someone had a phone and somebody was deliberately recording that attack that took place. And I feel that the chain of the entire circle should be covered in the investigation. Do you have any information about whether it's was an adult that was recording that, or it was one of the students who had a phone in school that was recording it?
Yeah, first of all, as a boarding school, they are not allowed to come with phone into the school. Yeah. That is not allowed. So, but for the fact that the scene was recorded, that suppose that somebody had a phone. And that is also negligence on the part of the administrators of that place. Yeah. And that is why, though investigation is going on, we are going to ascertain what led to that and who brought the phone and all of that. But they have a duty to ensure that the rules and regulations governing that school is being implemented. And when they fail to do that, these are the outcomes. And that is why, first of all, we have to put them on hold until investigation is properly conducted and come out with our finding before the necessary action will be taking place.
Okay, I like the fact that, the housemasters were involved in, they were asked to be suspended and investigated as well, because sometimes we just tend to focus on just the children and we don't focus on those who should have the authority to enforce laws. So for me, I think that way that the Edo State government has started to do this right. But, as my colleague said, going forward, because bullying is something that we're seeing more and more of across schools. So it may not be cultism, it's just that culture of you can hit someone and it's a good thing to hit. Power. What are we doing education-wise, curriculum-wise, to start to introduce to children a better way of handling conflict?
You see, first, there must be enabling laws before you ask the best people to obey rules and regulations. Edo State House of Assembly is one of the first states that passed the VAB Act law, prohibiting violence against persons. So that law has been put in place. We are among the very first set of states that passed that law. The law is there prohibiting violence. So in addition to that, I think the Ministry of Education, the local education secretaries in primary, we have Chief Inspector of Education in secondary school. Their duty is to have a routine visit of school to ensure that all these vices, all these acts are not being carried out in schools. I think that angle is being straightened again to ensure proper monitoring.
Let me just quickly cut in with this question, sir.
And the housemaster.
Please, sir. Based on this comment you just made, do you believe that the lack of a commissioner of education could have impacted on the follow-through and follow-up and general oversight that should take place effectively within the Ministry of Education, within the state of Edo?
I don't think so, because apart from commissioner, we have permanent secretary, Ministry of Education. We have Chief Inspector of Education, and we have other education personnel that are saddled with the responsibility of ensuring the rule of law in schools. So commissioner is just a person. And outside the commissioner, we have permanent secretary who is in charge of the ministry as it is now. And they are all carrying out their function. This thing is just there's just one thing that happened that really...
Nima wants to quickly throw in a question, sir.
So, sir, my appeal is that you don't rule out cultism. Yeah. The style of this abuse was in a group. This depicts cultism easily from anybody who has experience. So please investigate. Possibly
from the investigation we have carried out, like I said before, immediately this thing happened, the governor instituted a high-power panel to investigate immediately. And the state secretary to the government was asked to chair that panel. It's a very high-power panel. So from the initial investigation we have carried out, that is why I said cultism is ruled out. All these children involved, both the victim and the accused, they are all SS3 students writing exams. Certain things happened, and what happened was a reaction of an action that took place before them. But like I said, they are still investigating. I don't want to...
I understand. We appreciate your time so far, sir.
Of the investigation. That is why... But I can assure you, it has nothing to do with cultism.
Thank you so much. We'll definitely bring you back when we have punitive measures have been carried out concerning this. And when the investigations have been concluded, we'll be speaking with the Deputy Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Roland Asoro. Osadebare. Thank you for helping me with that. Who also doubles as the chairman, Edo State House Committee on Education. Thank you for the update. One of the things that we wanted to discuss, why we wanted to discuss this is because we wanted to speak against bullying in schools. And we wanted to, and I know many people are on holiday now, we wanted them to know that people are watching and you'll be penalized if you're found to do this. And teachers, administrators, everybody, all our hands should be on deck to ensure that we never see this again happen to any students across any school in Nigeria. Thank you for your time. We'll take a quick break. When we return, another hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.